Can you believe it? This is video 10, and it's Falcon Spirit Day for Spirit Week, so I'm wearing my Falcon shirt. We are starting Chapter 7 today, Lesson 1, and I think I can knock this one out pretty quick and also pretty uniquely on the way I'm going to do this, so that the video is going to be short, but I'm hoping to have you guys look at your worksheets on it, and then on Google Classroom, I'm going to have some more interactive ways of you to answer these by Monday-ish. So anyways, this is on how we use the transformations that we learned to tell if things are congruent. We are going to really concentrate on the translation, which is just a slide, a reflection, which is a flip, and rotations, which those are turns. Okay, so how can I use transformations to test congruence? Those go hand in hand. On your reteach page that I provided for you for 7.1, they give a pretty good example of the most simple way to think about these. If I have a line, AB, and I slide it down to A prime, B prime, what I just did was I slide, it's a translation. If I have a line that looks like this, can I get from here to here? Yes, I can do a reflection. So that S and S prime and R prime are reflections of each other because I flipped that line over. And then this last one, if I have this line WT, I can get line W prime T prime if I rotated it. So that's a turn. So keep those in mind. My objective today, what I want to do is just show you a visual of all of the congruent ones on your 3 worksheets, your reteach, your skills practice, and your homework. And then I'm going to try to make up something where you can explain again to me why they're all congruent. Okay, so that means on the reteach page, the first one that I usually provide you with, and it looks like this guy, on that reteach page, number 1 is a congruent matchup because it starts with a figure that looks like this, and then the second figure looks like this. So if you flip that over, it's the same thing. So what that was a reflection. Okay, that's the only one. There's only 2 problems on that page, and that's the only one of those that are congruent. If you jump over to the homework page, there's a lot, or excuse me, I'm going to do the skills practice one next. There's a lot of those that are congruent. On the skills practice page, the first one looks kind of like this, and then to get to the other one, there's another one sitting like this. There's a lot of ways you can say you got there. You could have just slid it over to get there. You could have reflected it over to get there. And you could have even rotated it 180 degrees and got there. It's very easy to see that that one is congruent. Number 2 on that skills practice looks a little different. It looks a little bit like this, where one shape is like this, and the other shape, if I'm doing it right, looks kind of like this. And if you rotated that, then you could get it there. That would be a rotation of about it's probably close to 180 degrees would be the reason I would put it. Number 3 on skills practice still looks like this. Well, that's because if I took this shape and I reflected it over like that, you would get that. So those are congruent because of a reflection. Skills practice number 4 is not congruent, nor is number 5, and you can tell why and maybe give me a reason. Skills practice number 6 looks like something like this, where you start with this. I'm going to go to reflection again. Here, you flip it over like this, and you're going to get the second figure. Here to here, that's a flip, that's a reflection. Okay, homework. See how fast we're moving through these and how fast this video is going to be. On your homework, the very first one for your homework looks a little bit like this. Okay, and there's 2 things that are going to go on here. Okay, we would have to take this first one and rotate it here, and then we would have to take this translation and slide it over, and we would be able to prove that they are once again congruent to each other. Okay, if I were to look at number 2 on the homework, that one looks like this. And there's a couple things going on in this guy. Okay, I would have had to have taken this original shape, flipped it over, and then slid it over. That's a reflection and then a translation to get those, but then that would prove that you could, again, lay them on top of each other and be congruent. Okay, the third one on homework practice is not congruent. The fourth one is, and my drawing for this one is a little bit raw because it's kind of a harder picture to draw, but they have the first picture like this, kind of like this. The second picture, if I were to rotate this like this, 180 degrees, that would be how I would get that same shape. They are congruent. Okay. Homeworks number 5 and 6 are just kind of ones that you need to be able to visualize. They ask number 5 to take that picture that they give you and see how they would make that happen. But all they're saying is if you started with this hexagon, that's a pentagon, and you flipped it over like this and then filled in all the designs in between, that a lot of that picture was made by doing a reflection. And finally, number 6 on the homework, all they're saying on that guy is on that little snowflake-ish looking figure, they're saying A and B, they look like this. All they did was they slid one on the other. That's a actual translation that they did on that one. Okay, so what I want you to do is look at those. Those are all the ones that are congruent. I'm going to be asking you in homework, in Google Classroom, how you can tell me why those were congruent. It's going to be that easy, and we're going to knock out 7.1 in a hurry. Okay, have a good weekend.